just one segment of this spectacular panorama now that we're in the hills, panning across these outcrop rocks and dark rocks that we've been measuring very different compositions for the first time with the rover. It's exciting to be in a different area than the volcanic plains that we saw early in the mission, to be measuring different kind of rocks that we think are telling us more about the history of water on this part of the planet.
Lo que sí hemos encontrado ha sido una historia bastante larga de los procesos de agua y las acciones de agua en forma de líquidos sobre las rocas y los suelos donde nos encontramos, que fue el objetivo primario de nuestras misiones.
So this is probably one of the most spectacular panoramas that we've taken with the rovers to date. It was taken by Spirit between sols 213 and 223, so it took more than 10 days to take. It took more than 2 weeks to downlink this data back to the ground, and then another couple of weeks of work by JPL and Cornell teams to put it together. It's the first big panorama we took after we got to the Columbia Hills. We traveled that 3.5 kilometers from the landing site into these spectacular hills to look at these very different kinds of rocks than we saw at the original landing site. Here we zoom into a collection of relatively dark rocks.
El ambiente en Marte está mejorando a nuestro favor. Acabamos ahora el tiempo de invierno en el hemisferio del sur del planeta, que es a donde se encuentran los dos vehículos. Así que ya los días se van alargando y son más calientes, la temperatura va subiendo, así que nos ayuda eso para seguir operando estos vehículos.
With the composition and mineralogy that indicates more evidence for the action of water and interacting with the rock in this area. So very exciting to be in a different kind of environment. As we pan across here, you can see the hills, the distant peaks in hills and valleys in Gusev Crater. The distant wall is like 80 kilometers away, so it's very, very clear atmospheric conditions. We zoom in here to an area where the rover spun around and lubricated its front wheel